Everything we thought we knew about Red Dead Redemption 3 just got turned upside down by two words found on a deleted LinkedIn profile. For years, the community has been fighting prequel versus sequel, Dutch versus Jack. We argued about timelines, we argued about the definition of a Western. But while we were debating lore, a developer at Rockstar might have just quietly confirmed exactly where we are going. And if this leak is real, a lot of you are going to be angry because it implies the one thing nobody expected in a Red Dead game: cars.
Family horse, soon to be replaced by a fearsome monster that breathed fire and drank gasoline, a history culminating proudly in the horseless carriage.
We need to talk about the vehicle AI leak. This isn't just a rumor. This comes from a specific listing on a resume that appeared briefly before being scrubbed from the internet. A programmer previously associated with Rockstar's Rage engine development listed experience working on vehicle AI and traffic navigation, specifically tagged for the next installment in the Red Dead franchise. Now, pause for a second. Read that again. Traffic navigation. In Red Dead 2, we had wagons and horses. Those follow simple pathfinding. They stick to a rail or a dirt path. You don't need complex traffic navigation AI for a horse. Horses have animal AI. They get spooked. They buck. You do not code a horse to obey traffic laws, yield to pedestrians, or navigate a four-way intersection. You build that kind of architecture for automobiles. This singular piece of information is the smoking gun. It suggests Red Dead 3 isn't going back to the Wild West of 1880. It's moving forward. We are likely looking at a game set in the death throes of the frontier, pushing into the 1920s, and that changes the entire DNA of the franchise. If we assume this leak is legitimate, we have to look at what a 1920s Red Dead game actually looks like. A lot of people hear cars and they immediately panic. They think, oh great, it's just Grand Theft Auto 1920. But that is missing the point. That is missing the point of how Rockstar handles history. Think about the physics engine in Red Dead 2. Think about the mud, the way Arthur trudges through the sludge in Valentine. Now, imagine a 1919 Ford Model T trying to navigate that. Early cars were not fast. They were loud, unreliable, terrifying machines that got stuck constantly. This is where the gameplay innovation happens. Rockstar isn't going to give us a super fast getaway car. They're going to give us a mechanical horse that breaks down. Imagine a mission where you're trying to outrun the law. You're in a tin can with an engine that overheats if you push it too hard. You have to manually crank it to start. The tires are thin rubber that slip in the mud. You have to decide, do I take the road where the federal agents are waiting, or do I try to cut through the field and risk the car getting bogged down in the swamp? And consider the combat evolution. We've mastered the revolver duel, but hanging out the window of a moving car, clutching a sawed-off shotgun while your partner drives, that introduces a level of cooperative chaos we have never seen. It isn't just a shootout anymore, it's a drive-by. That tension, man versus machine, is the perfect thematic successor to man versus nature. The vehicle AI listing suggests we'll see traffic patterns. Imagine Saint-Denis expanded, the chaotic mix of horses, wagons, and early automobiles fighting for space on cobblestone streets. That is a nightmare to navigate, and that chaos is exactly where Rockstar thrives. This brings us to the Jack Marston problem. We left Jack in 1914. He had just killed Edgar Ross. He looked at his gun, realized he had become the outlaw his father died trying to prevent him from being, and walked away. The Wild West was officially dead. If RDR3 picks up here, we're entering the era of prohibition, the era of the bank robber who became a celebrity, the transition from the dusty outlaw to the organized gangster. And before you say, that's not a Western, remember what the first two games were actually about. They weren't about being a cowboy. They were about the end of the cowboy. Arthur Morgan's story was about the West dying. John Marston's story was about the West being buried. Jack Marston's story has to be about what grows on the grave. If we follow Jack into the 1920s, the story writes itself. He's a relic, a man who knows how to hunt, track, and shoot in a world that's rapidly industrializing. The government isn't sending Pinkertons on horses anymore. They're sending the Bureau of Investigation, the early FBI, with organized tactics and armored cars. Think about the wanted system. In 1899, you could run to the hills to escape. In 2020, the law has radios. They have coordinated roadblocks. You aren't just running from a sheriff, you're running from a system that can communicate faster than you can ride. Jack trying to survive in that world is tragic. It fits the melancholic tone of the series perfectly. And let's be real about the alternative. A lot of you want a prequel. You want to see young Dutch. You want to play as the Blackwater Massacre. But narratively, we know how that ends. We know Dutch goes crazy. We know the gang falls apart. There's no mystery there. We're just connecting dots. But a sequel with Jack? That is wide open. We don't know if Jack finds redemption. We don't know if he dies young like his father, or if he manages to escape the cycle of violence. He could become a bootlegger running moonshine through the bayou to survive. The atmosphere would be incredible. Imagine the gloom of Roanoke Ridge, but now there are illegal moonshine stills hidden in the fog. It becomes a story of the country outlaw versus the city gangster. Visually, this fits the vehicle AI leak perfectly. You need smart AI to handle the complexity of early highways and police chases involving multiple vehicle types. Now, we have to address the engine. Rockstar is currently pouring everything into GTA 6. That game is going to set the standard for open-world interaction for the next decade. RDR3 will run on an evolved version of that same Rage engine. If GTA 6 is optimizing driving physics to be hyper-realistic, it makes no sense for Rockstar to throw all that tech away for RDR3 and go back to a game that only has horses. It's efficient. Leveraging the tech from their biggest earner to enhance their prestige franchise is a logical move. This paints a picture of a world that's alive, loud, and moving on without you. That's the core theme of Red Dead. The world doesn't care about you. In RDR2, the world was getting smaller. In RDR3, if this leak holds, the world is getting faster. So, where does that leave us? If this leak is true, we have to accept that the Cowboy simulator is evolving, and frankly, it has to. How many more times can we rob a stagecoach? How many more times can we have a duel at high noon? We've perfected that. If Rockstar wants to redefine the genre again, they have to take a risk. They have to show us the ugly, messy transition into the modern world. They have to show us Jack Marston, a man born in the wild, dying in a world of concrete and steel. The vehicle AI isn't just a gameplay mechanic, it's a symbol. It represents the iron horse coming to eat the real horse. It represents the future crushing the past. And that's the most Red Dead story I can imagine. But I know this is controversial. Half of you are probably typing a comment right now saying, if there are cars, I'm not buying it. So I want to settle this right now in the comments. We're going to do a vote. I want you to leave a comment with just one letter. Vote A if you want the Jack Marston sequel. Give us the 1920s, give us the Peaky Blinders vibe. Give us the cars, let's finish the story. Vote B if you want the prequel, no cars, strictly 1880s. Give us young Dutch and forget about the future. Vote C if you think they should scrap the redemption title entirely and start a new franchise with new characters. I'm genuinely curious, because looking at this leak, it seems Rockstar has already made their choice. They're building the traffic systems. The future is coming whether we like it or not. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want to stay updated on every single breadcrumb of info regarding RDR3, make sure you're subscribed. We don't just cover the news, we analyze what it actually means. The era of the gunslinger might be over, but the era of the outlaw is just getting started. I'll see you in the next one.